I'm Jeff Giordano, candidate for Miami-Dade Sheriff. Please go to our website, Giordano4sheriff.com, as we lay out our platform on priorities. One of my priorities is condominium fraud. Condominium fraud is rampant throughout Dade County. I have been involved myself in several situations with two condominiums that I own. One, my investment office in Wynwood, where we conduct security and private investigations from with my private company, Giordano Protection Services. They tried everything in their power not to get me on the board of directors, to the point where they even sent out a letter to all the unit owners in the building in an attempt to defame my character, because I was after transparency of where our money was going. You could see our arbitration hearing on my website, an arbitration hearing that was overturned, the board of directors thrown out, two of the members, appointing me to the board of directors, where I am currently on the board and I remain on the board of directors. My Miami Beach condo, Hurricane Irma came. When Hurricane Irma came, they did a false insurance claim. They started ripping up carpets that were not damaged in an attempt to get money. As a result of retaliation, they filed a lawsuit against me using association funds, close to $40,000 of its association members' fees to sue a unit owner, pretty much on a slap lawsuit, by filing claims and saying I was going to go to the authorities with insurance fraud claims. Every legal advisor, attorney would know, what do you do in a case like this? You make an offer. So my attorney made a counteroffer of $1. Imagine this. Unfortunately, at the end of the case, when the corrupt attorney for the association realized he couldn't wean him for another dime, close to $40-some thousand of attorney's fees, he accepted the $1 offer because the case went before a judge on a motion to dismiss, and the case was dismissed, and they had 20 days to refile, and they had nothing. So here you have an association attorney sucking the association dry, which that fund becomes from each and every member. Currently, my Miami Beach condo is under a contract with a developer, Mass Capital 5313 Collins Acquisitions. Next door to our building was La Costa 5333 Collins Avenue, which was bought out by the same investor. The condominium was shut down by Miami Beach when a mysterious engineering report showed up at the city of Miami Beach saying that the building was unsafe, forcing every resident out of the building. And the judge ordered that they had to do contracts with the developer. Imagine this. Now you have a city municipality assisting developers into evacuating and evicting residents at will for property taxes in the city. Now we have a situation in our building where the board of directors signed a memo of understanding with a third partner, the Canero Group, that only represents 28 people of the association, not even a majority, in an attempt to use unit owners' funds on their own personal lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit against the developer in an attempt to force him to go back into contract with the Canero Group. Secret meetings that were held behind closed doors with the developer. A board of directors that refused to place their names on division of corporation documents, shielding them of their identity. As they met with the developers for big deals behind closed doors, conducted false budgets, and presented a false assessment to this unit owner. To this day, we have over $1 million investment that was done on a special assessment. But let me tell you how we got there. The deal the board made with the developer, the alleged deal that they made with the developer, is to build the reserves in exchange for high contract amounts. They attempted to finally keep that insurance claim and leave it for the developer until I sent demand letters to the attorney and on his own invoices was attempting to shield the residents of the building of the insurance claim, which was $300-some thousand. This delayed the closing because that money was supposed to be left in reserves for the developer. When I pointed out it was illegal to do such and our bylaws called for change for other things with that insurance company, that it must be given to its member, they delayed all the closings to the building in an attempt to build the reserves. So what did the board of directors do? A false assessment for over $1 million some divided between 120 units. An assessment claiming, I believe it was $480,000 for insurance, when our budget already called for $336,000. Now they're asking for an additional $460,000 when they said in the original budget that it was only going to go up to $4 something. So what happened with our original money we were budgeted for? They denied giving my attorney any insurance documents with the insurance information on it showing how much we paid, forcing an arbitration with the state that is currently with the Department of Business and Professional Regulations. They did a $460,000 to $480,000 assessment on the roof. This was back in November of 2022. To this day, not one penny has been gone to put a new roof. They denied right to inspect documents of contracts. Just imagine. Engineering reports that we know existed from the insurance claim. They've torn off balconies in an attempt to scare residents. They reformed columns that they said our main column was under destruction and the building could collapse in an attempt to scare residents. However, they refused and denied to provide me with engineering reports when I have documented evidence that these engineering reports exist. Imagine, after the Surfside tragedy, how a board of directors can openly conceal documents along with the association attorney on engineering reports. It gets better. Now you have the city of Miami Beach that had several fines on the building, and in the fines required a sealed engineering report in order to clear these fines. Once I started emailing everyone and their grandmother about this building and how could we still stay open, that they're playing Russian roulette with the people's lives just to accommodate the developer and wait for him to knock the building next door to come to ours and knock it down for closing, what do you think happened? Within 1 day, violations and fines on our building for concrete restoration were fixed. And you had the Department of Building and Zoning emailing me from the city of Miami Beach that the fines were paid and they received a letter from an engineer along with the architect for the building. The architect for the building happens to be an architect that is not only a unit owner, that is the president of the board of the association. So you're trying to tell me that engineering reports in today's world after the Surfside tragedy can be withheld from unit owners, forcing an arbitration with the state? In the association attorney's own invoices, he puts down documents, bribery, and extortion by board members and a developer, and fails to go to the authority. I urge you to go to our website, look at my complaints that not only went to the Florida Bar Association, it went to the DBPR for an arbitration hearing requesting these documents, and I have provided them to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office requesting that an investigation be open on these board members. That additionally, the other board that was being shielded appointed this board with apparently no records or documentation on it What did the board do? This is total insanity, how they can conceal themselves from Florida Division of Corporation Records, only for large contracts with themselves. Meeting with developers behind closed doors, this is uncalled for. Where is their transparency in condominiums? When I become sheriff, will have monthly meetings with associations. I will advise them of what they need to change in their bylaws to make it legal for us to move in with organized fraud and arrest, concealing and destroying documents. Referring to my building, what did they do when I asked for aged owner balance reports on unit owners that would show the group of 28 that had contracts with the Canero Group along with the board wasn't paying their maintenance or special assessment? They immediately fired the management company where my attorney had to send a preservation of evidence letter to them to make these documents preserved, which I still have not gotten my hands on yet, and that's what civil litigation is for. This is crazy. We need monthly meetings with associations, and we need to have a unit comprised of civilians and property managers to review bylaws. I'll give you another example. Serenity, a condominium here on the river. Not too long ago, they had an insurance claim that they recovered close to $2 million. What did the president of the board do? He assigned himself as the insurance trustee as the bylaws allowed. The bylaws also allowed that you could pay this insurance trustee. What did he do and documented in the minutes? He gave himself over $1 million in payments as the insurance trustee. The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office refused to take and prosecute the case. Why? Because their bylaws allowed for such corruption. This is insanity. This is going on throughout the county. In my case, why do they keep getting attorneys involved? They also had an attorney that they were suing for the Sabrina Cohen project, not to allow a building to come in to accommodate people with wheelchairs. They also had another one, a previous lawsuit that they were involved with another association to try to attempt to get the developer not to come. Now they're suing the developer. Why? Because each and every time there has been an attorney on the board, and he gets a legal commission by referring these attorney fees and just building it up at will, charging the building. We must have condo reform in Dade County. I laugh at these other candidates that are coming out with condo reform. I have addressed the state attorney's office with this. I spoke to people in the community, and now everybody is coming out as sheriffs saying that they want condo reform, driving around in their car with plastic papers pretending that they're involved in an investigation. We conduct investigations, as I'm a private investigator and I have been hired by several residents in the community to conduct investigations on their associations. We could tell them what to request on right to inspect documents and how to go after the association. Just because certain laws are not in the books and they have not come up with superb condo rules yet in Tallahassee, it doesn't mean organized fraud does not exist and statutes are not in the book where we can go after these condominium boards that are not only corrupt, but they are taking kickbacks from construction work. Just imagine the story that I told you, the president being an architect, and the architect on record for the building getting contracts and giving them to people that he is associated with and doing work with and paying him through his business. This cannot go on. As Miami-Dade Sheriff, I will have one of the strongest condominium task force that you have ever seen. We will attend association meetings, being invited by personnel, and we will work with the state attorney's office and their division of condominium fraud to bring down these condominium thieves. One quick scam that I will tell you, another one. Most bylaws and documents, they have first right of refusal, which means You can have somebody buying a unit. You could be the owner of the unit, being foreclosed on. Individual does all the legwork, all the homework. Now he's going to purchase the foreclosed unit for $100,000, $150,000, whatever it might be. Someone on the board is going to see that and say, no, I have the first right of refusal. What do they tell the bank? We're not allowing this individual to buy the unit. I'm buying it. And because you're a board member, you see that it's not open to everybody and you have first right of refusal, and you purchase that unit for greed purposes, putting slump landlords there when you had a legitimate buyer looking at that location. This must stop. And I am the candidate that is going to make this happen. Don't look at these other candidates' promises. Look at mine. Look at the dates of my investigations. Look at the dates of my complaints. And know that I'm in it to win it. And know that I'm in there for the community. Know that I have been fighting for every resident in every investment property that I own. Jeffreygiordano for sheriff. Please visit our website and donate, giordanoforsheriff.com. Thank you.